Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick. We are your crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Rumor has it Barry the Boater might even hop on board with us, but he's a little bit underwater. He's down there in the Fort Lauderdale area. Got a lot of rain this week. Might have seen it. I don't know, 2 feet of rain in 24 hours. It was a little wet down there, but we'll see if he pops up for air and joins us on board a little bit later on. But we got a few little stories to navigate and educate our boating passengers accordingly. Do we not, Patrick?
We are certainly going to try, Greg. We'll see how far we get before you interrupt me.
Yes. Well, keep talking. It's just a matter of time.
So let's start with some breaking news this past week. What comes to mind when I say world's largest wooden super yacht?
Sailboat. I don't know. What do you think?
Incorrect.
All right.
It is not. But this story is posted to worldofboating.com and World of Boating on Facebook. So if you haven't checked us out, if you haven't liked us, you are doing yourself and your friends a great disservice by not having us. And look, I promise, because I handle the postings, most of them anyway. Greg pops in there occasionally.
Right.
Not going to inundate you with, ridiculous, ads and this, that, and that. It's just 1 or 2 posts a day you'll see pop up in your news feed having to do with boating, boating industry, maybe a funny story, maybe something a little more on the serious side.
Yeah.
Hopefully you find it either educational or laugh out loud funny. And there are those of you that I refer to as the super wobbers, the super world of boaters that interact with me from time to time. Sometimes they'll even call me a name, and that's okay. I'm talking to you, Brian.
Okay. And just for the record, we want you to like us, and the only reason we say that is because we have no other choice. If they just would have a button to say tolerate us, we'd do much, much better. But you got to press the like button, I guess.
Yeah, there is no dislike Captain Patrick button. Stop looking for it.
Right. So just know that we're not going to hold you to liking us. You're just supposed to do that to help follow things accordingly and get the stuff you desire. But you can still, think we're
Greg,
halfway
breaking news. We have been joined live on the air with our own very own garden gnome.
That's true. He does kind of look like that.
I feel like one.
He really does.
All right. Barry the Boater has made it. He's come up for air.
Barry the Boater was working on his truck, had to replace this device here.
Yeah. Was it underwater because all that rain you had down there? Or
no.
What?
It's the magnetic clutch for my AC.
Ah.
And this part is unobtainable.
Really?
That's one
like
of the elements. Unobtainium.
Yeah. Well, then why do you have it in your hand?
Because I changed out my compressor 2 years ago because that went bad. It exploded inside.
Okay.
But I stripped off all the electrical parts just in case I ever had to repair the new one. And the new one in there is only about 2 years old.
Right.
This already failed on it.
So see, that's what you get for not getting a Honda Ridgeline there.
No, I need something that can tow a boat, not something that'll split apart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, by the way, if any part on a Honda Ridgeline fails, you just replace the whole vehicle.
Well, yeah.
Probably,
why not?
yeah.
It's never happened to me. I don't have any of those unattainable whatever parts you have.
Yeah. Patrick will know that at one time you can get any part for your car and repair it.
That's why I have a 23-year-old pickup truck, Barry. Because I can work on it. I can find one. It's an F-150, so I mean readily available. 4.6 liter, great engine. I can find parts, no problem.
Right.
Let me just tell you a quick funny story.
If you think so, go ahead.
I went with a friend of mine over to a junkyard one day. He's a Ford fan like no other. and he was looking for a taillight, and there was rows and rows of these Fords out there.
Hmm.
And I asked the guy, I said, do you have any Toyota Tacomas? I need a part for it. And he goes, oh, we don't get too many of those out here. They usually don't break down.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, there we know. Now we know.
I'm waiting for the funny part.
The funny part is that he's always busting my, you won't say what, about my Tacoma, yet it doesn't
Busting
break
your
down
Tacoma,
often.
right?
Yeah,
Well,
busting my Tacoma.
Neither does my F-150, but it is the best-selling truck in the United States. So by sheer numbers, there will be far more of those out on the road than your
And in the
Toyota Tacoma,
junkyard.
But
and
hopefully not in the
certainly
junkyard.
more than
Yeah.
the Honda Ridgeline,
Okay.
which is
Oh, yeah.
otherwise known as a paperweight.
All right. Yeah. Obviously, Barry and Patrick fall in the category of old school. They like the old type stuff, not the cutting edge, latest technology. So this wooden boat this super yacht might be right down your alley, Patrick. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, it is a thing of beauty. This super yacht that was made entirely not entirely of wood. So the wood that was used is teak. So
Ooh, that's expensive stuff.
oh yeah, and it's got a GRP superstructure. It is yet to be named, which means that if you do buy this, you get to christen it with a. It'll only have been named once. It's a 50-meter yacht that was
Wow.
built in that entered construction in 2020, and it is a very classic design.
Wait. Is this Noah's Ark?
It is not Noah's Ark.
Okay. All right. That's
So there are accommodations for
guess.
12 guests and 6 staterooms, 2 master cabins, 4 remaining guest cabins, each with its own en-suite. There's also room for 5 additional crew members and 3 crew cabins, including a generous captain's cabin. Other features include an onboard cinema, as well as an abundance of outdoor spaces, including twin staircases leading to a really huge swim platform. This really is, I mean, I think you get to a point with a boat where, okay, how much boat do you really need? But just from a sheer craftsmanship standpoint, this is stunning.
My suggestion for the name should be Woody. And you call it what
All
it
right,
is.
and we'll move on from that.
I'm
It
just saying.
sounds like listen, this is the happiest Patrick's ever been. He's really drooling over this yacht.
Yeah.
What was, I expected. a
And
name
this,
like
and
that
this
from
is
Brady.
your typical big super yacht, 150 footer. It's not a
wouldn't-
sailboat, is it?
It is not a sailboat. I
Right.
wouldn't say typical because again, it's got very classic lines.
Right. Well,
Uh,
the teak alone, it would make
Well,
it
the
feel
teak alone,
classy.
but again, very very classic lines. The superstructure. I mean, aesthetically, it's very pleasing. Might be because of the differences that you get with a teak or wood construction, the variances in the the way that it looks. It almost has the appearance that it was carved out of one huge piece of wood, which is awesome. It's an amazing look. So if you happen to hit the lottery this week or something like that, it's in Dubai,
Yeah.
and asking price is just a smidge under 10 million.
Huh. Sounds like a bargain. Yeah. The only thing is it would, making it all wood like that. I mean, is that good or bad? I mean, it looks
Oh,
cool, but
How many ships sailed the sea that were completely made out of wood? How long did they
2.
last?
2.
well, I
Only
mentioned Noah's
2.
Ark already, and the other one is the one that the Mayflower.
The
that was-
Mary Celeste.
Okay. So yeah, it's a throwback. So maybe it'll last forever. I guess I don't know, but
That
I
boat
don't,
will last as long as you take care of it. It's like anything else, like my truck,
but then
Patrick's truck.
but would be better than having your typical carbon fiber type of state of the art materials that they're using on these things now, Patrick, or no?
Well, again, the superstructure is not all wood; it's GRP. And I'm sure that
Is that chat GRP?
No.
Oh,
Okay. I'm
It's
glad
just
I
an
didn't miss all the
amazing.
bad
It's
jokes.
an amazing piece of craftsmanship. Check it out at worldofboating.com.
All right, put in your bid. They're taking orders now. More coming up on the World of Boating.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
This is the world of boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick, Barry the boat around and out the crew. Yo-ho. Yeah, you know, it is bad luck, whether it's a wooden boat, fiberglass, composite. But you know, you're not supposed to have a mermaid on the boat. Is that the deal? Is that what they were singing about, Patrick? Is that what
I don't listen to your rejoin music anymore because it irritates me.
Huh. Okay. Was very.
You're not supposed to have a woman on a ship.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what they were
Stop it.
singing about it. And they were calling her a mermaid. I don't know what the hell was going on with that, but it's a thing. But you know, is this a super yacht that's made out of wood? That's 150 footer out of Dubai, which I affectionately named Woody. Is this a trend? Are they going to start going back to wood?
No.
No, this is too much work, too expensive.
This was the weird thing is because it hasn't been named yet. So
well, I named it, so
I
we got that part taken care of already.
I don't believe it's been under a first owner yet, which means that they either somebody contracted and then bailed, which I would find ridiculous if that happened, because there'd be a sizable deposit that they would not get back, or they built it on spec, which is crazy for a 150-foot yacht that is made primarily out of teak. But then again, it's Dubai. You've been to Dubai.
I have.
So you know what happens in Dubai.
What do you mean?
Exactly.
I don't know
what
Barry
happens in
Barry
Dubai
gets it.
stays in Dubai.
No,
Nothing.
there's not. Dubai is like Las Vegas without the fun, if you ask me.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
That's a wealthy nation.
Yeah, but no gambling, no shows, none of
none
the
that
colorful
you're aware
stuff
of.
from Vegas.
So they keep their money. They don't give it away.
Yeah, well, what fun is
Well,
that?
what fun is that? They could use it for building super yachts made out of teak.
I guess. I don't know. One word: termites. I would think that'd be a down.
No, teak's a really good wood.
Boy,
I have a
termites
teak
don't
table.
eat that.
I don't think so.
Really? Okay. Well, maybe it's a thing. I guess. It looks cool. I just wonder if it really, would it be? I mean, if price wasn't an option, which in Dubai it probably isn't. Teak is not the best wood to have your entire boat made out of. Is it, or is it?
Are you insane, man?
Well, I know it is for decking and stuff for sure, and that's but a whole boat like that, a super yacht of all teak, it seems like it'd be a bit much, or is it?
It is not.
Okay, so it is
again,
a great material to use. Then you're saying.
it is it is a great material to use. Unfortunately, not very friendly for the environment to harvest that much teak to build a 150-foot super yacht. However, it looks stunning.
I'm sure.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But it's not as responsible as like Barry's boat made out of used milk cartons.
It is not a milk carton.
Okay.
Well, that's what the plastic is.
It
isn't
was
it? It's
no,
like
it was a
recycled milk cartons.
No, it was a virgin material.
Okay, listen, unless you come across a felled tree in the forest and proceed to turn it into a canoe of some kind, so you're not going out and actually chopping down a tree.
Mhm.
There aren't many environmentally friendly ways to make a boat that aren't going to impact the environment in some negative fashion.
Yeah.
And we already know from fiberglass boat building that even with the advent in construction techniques, most commonly, infusion, which creates it's a much cleaner, neater way to build boats. The challenge, of course, in the industry is what happens as these boats age out of use and then become abandoned or derelict. How do you get those disposed of? Because again, fiberglass, FRP, is not something that is going to decompose.
Right.
Right. You got to find a way to somehow reuse it or recycle it.
But Barry, I thought when you bought your boat, I remember being down at the Miami International Boat Show, and they said it was made out of recycled milk cartons.
No. It's made out of polyethylene. They can chew the boat up and make milk cartons out of it, but they originally used the virgin material of polyethylene, little teeny tiny. It looked like almost like a powder. It's injected into a mold, and then they heat the whole mold up, and it melts and becomes the hull of the boat. In theory, I mean, it'll never break down. This could be a bad thing if you were to put it through a Cuisinart and then release it in the ocean. It would float around the ocean, and animals would end up ingesting it.
First, you would have to build the world's largest Cuisinart.
Yeah, that would be a mess.
True. Someone will work on that. It'll happen.
Moving on.
Okay. Free chipper.
So, Greg, you're a music aficionado, as evidenced by the great Rejoin music.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Mr. Travis Barker?
I am. What band was he in? I forget off the top of my head.
The band is still in existence. They're actually embarking on a world tour. Blink 182.
Yes, right. Okay, the drummer of Blink 182. Right.
Right. Second drummer.
Okay.
Self-described crappy punk rock music. But it's still hip with the kids. Kids who started listening to it are now my age.
Yeah.
Or just
Patrick is hip to their jive. Got
10 years younger. So anyway, last May, he got married to a Kardashian.
What are the odds?
To Kourtney Kardashian. Now, he got married to Kourtney 3 times. And you're like, how does this relate to boating? I'm getting there, but I got to lay the groundwork.
Okay.
So, coming full circle back to your Las Vegas remark, first time they got married was in Las Vegas after the Billboard Awards, but that was not an official wedding. It was just, I don't know.
Shotgun wedding.
A wedding.
A drunken one.
Maybe something like it. Then they got
let's
married.
go get married. Yeah.
Then they got married in Santa Barbara, California. And then they got married again in Portofino, Italy, which is part of their Hulu special, Till Death Do Us Part, Kourtney and Travis.
Well, did they get divorced in between these marriages, or they just had 3 different weddings and celebrations?
They just had 3 different weddings.
Okay.
So when he was in Portofino, he was on a yacht, and he decided to jump off of it right before he got married.
Okay, and we'll find out if he survived next, right here on The World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
We now return to Night Boat, the crime-solving boat.
Faster, Night Boat. We've got to catch those starfish poachers.
You don't have to yell, Michael. I'm all around you. Oh no, they're headed for land.
We'll never catch them now.
Incorrect. Look, a canal.
Oh, Night Boat, go!
Oh, every week there's a canal. Or an inlet. Or a fjord.
Quiet! I will not hear another word against the boat.
I was young, I was dry, but to sail I would go. 1 hour on the water, I was soaked down below. Though I tried, I couldn't hide from my mother's piercing view. But all she would say was, a big boy like you. Wet before, wet behind, we're the members of the Wet Hands Club.
Getting a little pissed here.
Wet before, wet behind, we're the members of the Wet Hands Club.
You're in the right place. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Captain Patrick Barry, the boater, rounding out the crew. All right, so Travis Barker with Blink 182 got married a Kardashian 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times. And after the third, he jumped off a boat because reality sunk in. Is that what happened?
Well,
Patrick,
it was right before the third wedding.
Oh,
and what I just don't understand. He said, because I was nervous and I knew it was like the wedding day, I went and like jumped off like the roof of a boat less than an hour before we got married. Dude,
Yeah.
you've already been married twice to the same lady.
yeah.
What
Well,
is there to be
sometimes you-
nervous about?
Well, you get fidgety, sitting around waiting for, everything to get started.
What are you getting married 3 times for? I don't get that.
The parties can be fun depending on who, how they turn out.
Maybe he had 3 wedding receptions, and on the third time he realized, oh, crap, I actually got to marry this person.
Listen.
I better
3
jump off the
weddings,
damn boat now.
I think
3
that was the whole
weddings,
point.
3 times the wedding gifts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Portofino wedding took place on Dolce and Gabbana's Portofino estate. Domenico Dolce offered to throw the couple their wedding. Kardashian and Barker said during the Hulu special, it just, dude, you should have just kept swimming. Why would you marry into that crazy family?
Money.
And Travis is he deals with enough stuff. Like he won't get back on a plane, So when they do their worldwide tour, he's traveling by boat.
Well, I guess he's got that going for him, as long as he can stay on the boat.
Yeah, well, after that incident with the jet, he does not fly anymore.
Right. Well, he may not boat anymore.
He may not.
I mean, so his excuse was he was just nervous, and so he decided to just jump on the boat.
Just weird. I mean, again, I could see maybe if it was the first wedding, and maybe your very first wedding ever, but he's already been married prior to once or twice. I forget, because he had a show on MTV. It was the Barker Family Circus or something like that at the era of the Ozzy Osbourne stuff as well.
Maybe he was trying to just fit in with the Kardashians and knowing that he would have to do something crazy, and that is how he was like, this will help me grease the wheels as I ease into this nut job family. Either that
maybe.
or ratings. We're talking about it. I don't know why. Just because we
because you
jumped
talk
off a
about
boat.
you talk about The Bachelor. You talk about The Bachelor.
Right. Well,
you talk
okay.
about
He was trying
The
to bring
Bachelor.
news that you would like.
Well,
The
it's,
Bachelor and
he's on a boat,
people
right.
that sing and everything else. Yeah.
I mean, he's a boater. I mean, well, he was jumping off the boat, so I guess he isn't a boater really. But
Okay.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the show, find out
Yeah,
how
don't do
this
that.
plays.
Question
Mhm.
for you guys: at what point, especially when it comes to boating, when there is a tragedy, an avoidable tragedy, should a single incident prompt lawmakers to change the law?
A single incident? No,
It happens all the time.
It should be reviewed. It should be looked at. I mean, if it's well, it should be.
You're
but I mean,
putting
you know,
logic into this, Barry. That
Well,
doesn't happen. You're talking about
but that-
politicians, lawmakers. Come on.
Okay,
Okay,
but he's
Let me-
asking from our point of view, right?
Right. So I'm going to give this story some context, and unfortunately, it does involve a person who lost her life. The death of Shane Henderson, 44-year-old father of two, an avid fisherman and boater, has stirred some of his friends and an Ohio lawmaker to consider boat safety reforms, including that personal flotation devices be worn, just not stowed on the boats. Now, this young man lost his life in the following circumstance, which I think this kind of fills out the story, and this comes into the era of personal responsibility, and to where we don't need another law and that to govern us, if you will. So neither Henderson nor most of the others in the 13 members of the Hoover Cats Catfishing Club competing in a March 23rd tournament on the Columbus-owned reservoir were wearing life jackets, despite gale force gusts that had created whitecaps on the waves above frigid water. So,
Okay.
I first of all, you're part of this catfishing club. Hey guys, listen, small craft advisory. I don't think it's. I think we're going to have to cancel the tournament. Plus the water temperature is frigid or freezing, so we're going to have to hold this off till conditions improve. No, let's go. Okay, you convinced us. Let's go.
Yeah, that was easy.
I mean, okay. So, I got to think that if it was gale force winds, you've definitely got not only a small craft advisory in effect, probably much more than that. Probably a warning like do not go out on the water. And to go ahead forward with this tournament and then not require the participants to be wearing PFDs is irresponsible, not only on the part of the club itself that was holding the tournament, but the boater as well. And at that point, I don't think that government needs to step in and say, we need to have a law. What you need to have is a law that says, if it's gale force winds and the water temperature is below X, we don't allow boating at all. We're going to close boat ramps in this area. You're not allowed. That makes more sense than saying you have to wear a life jacket, because great, they'll be able to find my body because I'm going to freeze to death within 2 minutes of hitting the water because the water itself is freezing.
Okay.
Well, that's common sense. That's a different story then.
If they're wearing a PFD, at least, they won't have to do the search and recovery very long because they'll be.
But that's
floating
not the
along.
point. The point is that you're supposed to use some smarts about the weather and everything like that before you go out there. It's the same thing as when people choose not to evacuate an area that's about to be hit by a hurricane. And then at the middle of this tremendous storm, they're trying to get someone to come out and fetch them and put someone else's life in jeopardy because they chose not to leave.
Yeah. So I think what you're getting at is education over legislation is where you're going at.
I don't even think if you have to be educated that here's gale force winds and we got a catfishing tournament going on, and maybe it's not a good idea that we hold this tournament. As Barry said, that's not really education. That's just simple common sense would lead you to say, I'm not going to take part in this not only because of the gale force winds, but also the water temperature is freezing. This is not a good idea, guys, that we go forward with this tournament. And on the off chance that somebody falls in the water and loses their life, we're now going to petition the state government to make sure that everybody on a boat, not that the life jackets aren't in a stored location, but you have to wear them because one person failed to use common sense.
And my life jacket clashes with my socks. And I'm very fashion
You
sensitive.
wear socks on a boat.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Oh, look at this. So much fun, you'll ship your pants.
You'll ship your pants, bro!
We singing and dancing, singing and dancing, singing and dancing, singing and dancing. When that great, great ship comes in.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate, Captain Patrick Barry, the boat rounding out the crew. All right, so we have this story, PFDs. You should wear them. I don't know if they need to be legislated in this case of that particular incident. I mean, like you said, it should be common sense that you wear these specially. You should wear them all the time, honestly. But, it's your personal preference, I think, especially when it comes to everybody else on the boat. The captain definitely needs to have one, and sometimes I think it is required. But and when it's rough weather, I mean, I think it's kind of silly that you wouldn't. But do we have to legislate that? Or do we need to just remind people every now and then that, look, wise up, think about it. Well, why take the risk, and take the proper precautions so you don't be, the guy that we end up talking about passing laws that affect everybody in boating because of your, I don't want to say stupidity, but your omission of thinking about things that could happen. What do you think there, Patrick?
Well, most fishing tournaments, especially ones that take place on inland waters, Bassmasters and stuff like that, they require, the participants are going to have PFDs. They have to wear them. It's all part because they want everybody to be safe. But if you want to have an effective strategy to get people to wear a PFD, and we certainly don't want more government interaction legislating that we have to do this, because then you come into the whole enforcement issue. How do you enforce it? What's the fine? Do you tie it into their driver's license? Would it be akin to not wearing your seatbelt? So on and so forth. But if you want to have an effect, you take this guy's picture, okay, with the family's permission, obviously, and I'd say the one that of his body, and then you do billboard ads, especially around areas where people do a lot of boating, and say, don't wear your PFD. Make sure you have your last will and testament, filled out.
Like a scared straight or drunk driving type of campaign.
I think you got to throw it in people's face that this, it can't happen to me. It's never going to happen. We're just going out on the reservoir lake. Yeah, in gale force conditions and in frigid water, temperatures. Yeah, it can happen, and it does happen. And unfortunately, people lose their lives when they don't have to. Totally, completely avoidable on so many different levels. Again, I think beginning with the club that decided to go forward with the tournament, and then the participants, those of whom decided to take part in it, and in doing so, then chose not to wear a PFD and or appropriate clothing to combat. Because then, how far do you take it that, okay, well, if you're going to be boating in these conditions and in this water, you're also going to be required to have a survival suit that, you're going to have to wear, because on the off chance, you can go so far in one direction with it that it's just not worth pursuing. And in this case, as Barry very simply and correctly said, It is nothing more than common sense. If it doesn't feel right, you don't do it. You have to listen to that little voice inside. And I'm pretty sure with this guy, that little voice, there was a point where it said, Shane, I don't think we should do this. And he said, but I'm out here with all my buddies and they're all going and I don't want to be the wimp. So I'm going too.
Maybe.
So, era of personal responsibility, take some responsibility. Want to move on to a story about situational awareness.
Okay.
And again, some more personal responsibility. So we've talked about stories where people unfortunately get struck by props on boats. Sometimes in an unfortunate situation like they're diving, and even with all the proper warning flags, dive flags, things like that, a clueless boater does the unthinkable and comes across them and runs them over. We have times when people are out partying on sandbars and shallow areas, things like that, and tide goes out and boat can't get itself off. So they're out there, everybody's, trying to push the boat, and, somebody's going to be at the rear of the boat, and, they decide to come over, and the guy who's at the helm trying to get, operating the engines, he doesn't realize there's somebody back there. Nobody told him, and that person gets struck. That's unfortunate as well. Coming out of St. Martin, out in the Caribbean this past week, there was this story where one of these water taxis, a very large water taxi, a lot of people on board, and the police are still investigating, but what they know so far is that the person who got struck by the prop on this water taxi, for some reason, he had jumped into the water in another location and was swimming towards the water taxi. So it's not like he was on the water taxi and fell off.
Right.
It's not like this was a dive boat or something like that where they were out on an excursion.
He was a little late.
People were in the water.
Yeah.
So this person, he makes his approach to the stern of the boat. The water is already frothing. And this is a twin sponson, so a catamaran, power cat style. So you can see the water's being churned up. And the boarding ladder is not down because they're not expecting anybody in the water. And there's a lot of people on this boat. And he tries to climb up. And of course, have you ever tried to climb onto a boat like that, like come up without the ladder being completely in, or you're trying to come up over the gunnel side?
No, wouldn't do that. Ideally.
It's not easy to get Greg up on my boat.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
If you could imagine, what happens is when you grab like that, the lower half of your body does what? Tendency is to do what? Is to go under.
You get kind of slide underneath. Yeah.
Correct. And you start kicking, and still the tendency as you're grabbing and trying to pull yourself up is that the lower half of your body you're kind of in that letter C shape, if you will. So as he's trying to do this, what happens? His foot gets struck by what I would only assume on this very large water taxi is a very large prop on this. So one of the passengers comes back and he sees this guy's in distress. So he reaches down, he's yelling like, hey, there's a guy back here. And he reaches down to try to pull him up and starts to get him up out of the water. And if you're one person in that situation like that, that's very, very hard to do. That's a hard position to be in, to try to pull somebody up out of the water that way. And unfortunately, the guy falls back into the water and is starting to kick. You can see him kind of kicking in his legs again and gets pulled under and gets struck again. Eventually, they get him up onto the back of the boat, and there's an image there on the video. Of course, that's blurred out because it's very bloody at that point. But again, era of personal responsibility. One, assuming that the guy was in the right frame of mind, making the approach to a stern of the boat where you could visibly see, because you can see it on the video, the water's being churned up. The engines are running, the props are turning, they're probably getting ready to back out to make their way. And he decides to try to climb on and gets struck. And one of the passengers tries to do the right thing and help him and can't get him all the way up. Guy falls back in, gets probably hit again, and then eventually brought up onto the boat. So there's a little bit of that, and some of these stories that we've talked about in the past involving situational awareness. And in this case, I can't see any fault with the captain of this water taxi or the crew. The last thing you probably expected was somebody trying to swim onto the boat as you're getting ready to back out.
Yes, not an ideal way to board, for sure. So yeah, you don't be that guy, I guess is what we're trying to say.
Well,
And,
be aware of your surroundings always.
Yeah, and don't do stupid blank. All right, we'll leave it at that for this week's
Don't
edition.
do stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Of the big show. Till next week, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
Life is better as a boater.
safe boating, everyone.
Come back here, you barnacle-bitten swab!
World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.